and whatever I see is smiling at me. Love is who I am.
Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to this video where I wish to speak more on the topic of the galactic human. What truly makes one a galactic human, what is galactic consciousness, and how to embody this path of complete cosmic intelligence manifested in our divine human form. So as you know, there's already so many beings that we like to address as the galactics, and a lot of people now in the New Age talk about the galactics, who are our overseers, protectors, and of course brothers and sisters of light. But I wish to share on the topic of what makes us as our current human embodiments, these galactics. So how do we become these galactic beings, and what does the galactic stewardship truly mean? So as you know, everything for our embodiment was created and designed in a way that through our body, through our vessel, which in a way becomes the capacity of holding the ascension pillar, through our own pillar, which is our body. And because we were created in the image and likeness of the divine, our bodies as sacred temples, as vessels of spirit in our human design, were created so that eventually we could embody this highest state of our consciousness, which we call the galactic human. There's many races of beings who have already integrated and mastered this through the embracing of their own inner polarity, and yet every star race that ever existed, that still exists within the greatness of all, and of course for us, when we're exploring our life in our galaxy, in terms of knowing these galactics as our brothers and sisters of light, as our own mirrors and reflections of this consciousness, we're of course focusing more on this galaxy in particular, although it has many different sectors and regions of the different planes of realities as well. So in terms of the galactic human statement, I would say that a galactic human being is a divine light being of full integrity as a representative for consciousness of the galactic proportions that is embodied here on Earth. So as many other civilizations had to master this awareness and integration in their own way through their own hardships, their own lessons, and their own upbringing in terms of embracing a greater collective group reality, which of course formulated what we know as Galactic Federation of Light and many different high councils that are always formed when the first degree of those beings who become sacred ancestors, because they have in a way embodied this wisdom that initially began with the seed of life, which then expanded and fully blossomed. So when that first initiative is taken and embodied through those first few beings, a high council is formed. So there's many such high councils and representatives in our galaxy. But for us now to explore the realms of, okay, how do we enter our own galactic citizenship? What makes us like that? How do we become these advocates for human life here on Earth, for all planetary and interplanetary species that are all evolving within the freedom of their own domain, which means their life reality and expression has its own sovereignty, just as our own human sovereignty does. And how do we embrace the sacredness of life? How do we cherish all life forms? How do we embody a consciousness that as a prototype begins to seed the seeds for those who are ready to embody such a body of consciousness? So there's many aspects to contemplate and to overview when we start thinking about a galactic human being and what truly is one. If you've ever watched those videos on YouTube when we're presented with many different extraterrestrial races, I recently saw one of those videos which states there's 13 different races of ET beings living here on Earth. And of course we're inhabiting these current human bodies, and a lot of us are not of terrestrial origin, although because we're galactic in our consciousness, we don't see things as through the eyes of separation. We feel home here just as well as we can feel somewhere else. And because of that, because a lot of us have mastered galactic citizenship in other forms and areas or regions of different quadrants of stellar spaces and locations, which each had to embody their own integration work, which means through each stellar system, through each template of work in evolutionary consciousness, a different component of creation was developed. So these different civilizations have created prototypes for different essences, which then go into the whole to create a living system information that is fed into the realities that are still in the evolution, which means the evolving worlds and planets that are then going through this transformation process, just as the Earth is right now. And because the initiative of free will had to be respected, as you know, on this planet, a lot of these beings had to, incorporate these bodies, which means become embodied themselves, not just assist the process as light beings or assisting from higher, different dimensions. This process was such a huge undertaking of vast proportions, but within its many initiatives, one of the primary initiatives was to plant the seeds of the galactic human consciousness. And I know that a lot of people would consider themselves, just because it resonates so much within their heart, that they're already, on this embodiment of the galactic human. There's many things to consider in terms of true embodiment that aligns with the process of this as an integrative process. So because there's so many factors to consider, this implies the nature of the complexity of the structures that all exist. As you look at those different races, they each have different attributes. You would say these are very good at these specifics, or these civilizations have mastered profoundly the art of, I don't know, healing, science, light technology, whatever. And all these aspects are, of course, written in the great Akashic halls, the records of all knowledge and information that is a database for all. So because of this, it means that we as humans also have a unique pathway towards embracing our own galactic citizenship, becoming planetary advocates, becoming the stewards for life and all life forms, and guardianships. We are guardians of this planet together with those species that were initially designed as the true guardians of Earth, preserving and maintaining its biosphere so that life could continue in its endless way. With this understanding comes a birthing of a new undertakings that you wish to ascribe yourself to as a human being, which means that you're more in line with the path of being not just your own master of life force, but a planetary light server, which means that your light quotient and what this means for you in terms of embodiment will be shared with the whole, because it will go into feeding the whole in terms of assisting this process from inside out. There's a lot of you who are here now as starseeds, starborn, light emissaries here on this mission. But the thing is, we have to understand that even though we have partaken on this mission, we needed to fully go through our own initiations as a part of our earthly training. And although we had a lot of cosmic training, and originally we each have different sectors that we are more empowered or strengthened through, except for those who have gone into these different stations and they have received training within all of them that are on the path of universal guide. So that means that our path here on Earth is also unique. And these attributes and essences will go into the whole through the unique integration process we go through, just as this process is happening on greater galactic levels. Like each stellar civilization or ET, extraterrestrial civilization, was mastering a certain degree that the whole needed. So let's say, well, the focus within certain training for certain aspects was selfless service. For others, it was mastership within a lumen partnership or sacred union and the whole sacred sexuality and how to increase potency of life through that union. For other civilizations, perhaps it was the inner mystic path and how to truly welcome that. So I want to share more about all of this, getting to know how do we actually use the work of the Ascension white light, or the pillar of the Ascension light, for our own body embodiment, which means our body becomes the vessel for creation pillar consciousness. And how do we create doorways that we align with these multidimensional realities so we can anchor galactic consciousness as prototypes for galactic humans here on Earth, because there is, as I've received from Spirit, the first training is now beginning for those first emerging galactic humans now on Earth. The time has begun, and many have arisen, many have raised their light quotient enough to the degree that this consciousness processing is now available. So I have created a new level mastery course which perfectly aligns and follows the Tantrika life force mastery, which is your inner cultivation that you of course need to achieve first, because through yourself, your own self-development and understanding of this light process, you can have a better understanding how this works and functions at greater levels of reality. Planetary level, interplanetary, interdimensional, you know, seeing it on all levels, and then of course galactic level. So this course will help you to learn about what Galactic Human truly is, and what are the initiatives to go through when you start to align yourself with a greater mission, which I call the core self or your galactic mission. Because many humans have been going through many personal activations, they've been going through an evolutionary path of their soul, and now they're finalizing, they're completing this stage, they're getting ready to embrace a bigger multidimensional, it's kind of like a union, but it's a union with your bigger mission. Many beings are also experiencing the aspects of a lumen union. Many beings are starting to feel a blending of themselves as they used to know themselves into a greater, vaster whole. They're feeling this as an alchemy of their wings expanding. It's like their angelic self is ready to birth a new level of consciousness here on Earth. So that is the whole idea behind galactic consciousness, is to spread the seeds of life, because it's something you've mastered yourself. It's not for you. It's not that ever we master it for ourselves. We're just a vessel for that, which can then serve the greater whole. And that is what galactic consciousness is. So for me, and what Spirit is showing me, that galactic humans are those beings who are dreaming bigger dreams, and they're using this higher dimensional energies which they're constantly birthing through them, through the light transfusion and the light body merging process, so that they're bringing energies from different planes of realities that have not been here on Earth before. And we're actually bringing here these seeds of life and potentials of a reality that's birthing through the Earth Ascension process as well, because she as a conscious being is going through this in her own way. And we are helping to raise the planetary light quotient or life force transfusion. And of course, cultivation process that we use for this goes into the whole. And because of that, we join this devotional path of being a planetary light server. So if you are a part of this initiative and you feel a calling, you wish to receive a further training, I really recommend you to take this course. And I've actually developed two courses. The first one is, like I said, is the Galactic Human Embodiment and Planetary Light Server consciousness, that helps to expand your current awareness into the galactic awareness of your new body, your higher chakric system, your understanding of the light body transmission of these light codes into your physical body, and how this merging process affects you, and how you can use it in greater clarity and understanding, so that you are further developing not only your new body, but that you're using your new body to refine the consciousness on this planet and to bring these new light codes to serve the whole through planetary light service. The second course is my Cosmic Dance for the Galactic Human, which helps you to embrace the path of increasing your divine intelligence of your physical body, because this merging process will affect every cell in your body. So the more you start to invite the life force of universal proportions into your body, then you want to also merge it with the planetary consciousness. And through this devotional dancing, which is completely guided through the life force that enters your body, you're actually becoming a purified vessel. It affects everything in your reality as a part of your daily integration process, as a part of your ritual, as a part of your gift to all life, so that you eventually become, what I call the giver of life. And this is one of the reasons why I'm here on this planet, why my humble self has chosen and decided to come here at this time. It's not always easy, but this path is for those old ancient souls who are ready to synthesize their earthly learning process and to enter what I call greater levels of divine service. So just like Sanat Kumara shared about his journey into receiving the initiation for planetary logos training, a lot of you are now starting to feel that call into becoming greater co-creators in terms of galactic consciousness, which helps you to unify with beings of galactic proportions, joining high councils, because naturally when you align with this current light quotient that is required for this embodiment, you naturally fall under the domain of these apprenticeships and these alliances that are part of the Earth advocacy here. What else to share here? So these two courses are the main correspondence that was shown to me as specifically important and required at this time. So the first course aligns you in terms of your consciousness, while the other one seeds you into the bodily awareness of processing the cultivation of the life force. So you are using it as a devotional process, as a gift. You're giving the gift of life to life itself as life itself. So a galactic human is a human that is operating both extra dimensionally and multidimensionally, understanding that this reality is not only the visible part of the reality, and working with the subtle realms to increase the potency of life as it wants to, become and evolve itself at this current stage of Earth's evolutionary process. Not all beings on Earth at this time, of course, are old souls that are ready to embrace this reality, but you have this call within you because you know who you are, and you have been probably in training your whole life to await this moment, this sacredness, when you will perceive time as differently, because a part of this reality and your new body integration is to perceive your own inner time, because you're getting so rooted into your bodily presence. Your body is so divinely intelligent. It completely tells you what you need, why you need it, and how this serves the whole, because your question is always aligned with, how can I serve for the highest good of all? Your personal desires will start to blend in with bigger desires, which doesn't mean they will disappear. They will have a greater overlay of energy, which will unify you more with what's taking place in the bigger scheme of things. So in a way, a galactic human is an embodiment of the gift of life itself to this current consciousness and the raising of dimensional awareness on this planet. That is why we say the planet is moving into a more fifth dimensional alignment, because the dimensional awareness is expanding and growing, and so is our dimensional awareness. So a galactic human being is also fully aligned with the galactic pulse of life, which I've also addressed and fully shared this initiation in my Tantrica Life Force Mastery course for complete understanding of how you become a conscious vessel for life force infusion, so that you can, at this next stage, become a planetary light server and a being that operates on galactic processing, which means when we talk about the higher chakric system, there's many different people who would differently discern it or describe it. But how I see it, I don't see it as a replacement. I see it as an overlay of energy. So your physical human body remains, but it gets add-ons, which, of course, before you needed them, they weren't possible. They weren't there. You did not need them activated because you said, I'm now processing myself and my lessons as a human being on this level, so I don't need this. But the moment the soul matures in that development stage, it is ready for more. These things will naturally start to spark up. Your field will begin to open up, and the work with the white pillar of light will become so important to you to energize yourself, to create your reality fully from life force, and to actually create an abundance, not just for you, but an abundance of service which goes out into all. And you can learn all about these processes. The links are down below to both of these two courses. You can take both of them or each one separately, and you can just see how that aligns with your path at this time. But I highly recommend, if you haven't already, to take the Tantrica Life Force Mastery course first, because it gives you the proper foundation as a basis to what then is unfolding. Because all my courses are developed from personal mastery stages to group consciousness to greater solar consciousness, then Life Force Mastery, now this galactic level. So they're like you, who is center of the beautiful heart rose that's opening in your cosmic heart, and because of that your awareness is growing. And as a part of your new body, our new body, we will have greater streams of processing. And please know that the galactic human being is not fully activated only in their third eye, which a lot of the New Age circles focus upon. You are a full-blown antenna, which means all of you, all of your body is an antenna. Your psychic sense is within all of your energized, fully energized chakras, and an overlay of these higher chakras, which help to stimulate the information you're processing for greater levels, so that you can process these cosmic streams of light that come into our planetary magnetic sphere, so that you can help to illuminate the spots that have been darkened for so long, that you can help balance and neutralize as a fully androgynous being of light, so that you use your internal polarity fusion and integration for the greater good of all. And if you want to learn more about all of this and what does it truly mean to be a galactic human, how does this fit into the whole scheme, knowing our galactic history, where we are now and when we're going, consider looking into these two courses. The links are down below. And I wish you so much beauty, love, and self-empowerment as a part of preparation for this process. And those of you who feel fully called and ready, you will know who you are, because you will feel a movement in your heart. So I invite you to join the sacred initiative and initiation whenever you feel ready and called, of course, through your soul. It's all within divine timing. Please remember this. Nothing in this reality can be forced. Of course, there's also a lot of souls who sometimes they're a little lazy. They don't want to do the work. They think that the Ascension process is something that's just naturally happening, and we don't need any help and assistance. But just like we need assistance as humans from these greater galactics, so we also need it here on Earth, as in how we expand as a community, because we each share resources and knowledge that we receive within our own mission, and that mission expands the mission of the whole, which is of course the integration of polarity in this galaxy, so that we can all unify and come back home to the origin of the fullest light expression that we are as a being of divine love. And I welcome you, and as always, so much love, grace, beauty, power, wisdom, everything. See you again soon, and take care. Galactic blessings to all.